be that focused kind of training,
You
do
know,
you think?
so.
I think there's training, but I also feel like I don't know, I felt like even with seminar that they have it in such small increments that it's not sitting there all day.
And they certainly they've got people that are doing things like that. I mean, putting together that kind of events.
Yes.
So they probably figured that out.
It's not very long either, I don't think. Like
No, I don't feel like
there's
it
a
is
breakout room for classes, like based on your level or something. So
And then you can do that.
But
Okay.
Ignite did something great, I think, with just talking about it all week before, just bringing everybody in, introducing the speakers. So you felt like a part of it. At least that's the feedback I got. I had a brand new consultant, was $80 credit card winner. She was ecstatic all of a sudden.
Oh, good.
Yes, she was.
That's
like,
wonderful.
But besides that, just bringing it all in, and then I was in tears. I'm here, I'm in my office all by myself, but I had mentally just got myself there though.
That's good.
Put myself mentally there, and there was times where I'm sitting there crying, like bawling, like, what is this all about?
I'm having an emotion.
Well, the longings for the connection that
Yeah.
people have, and the Mary Kay connection, for those of us who have
Right.
been used to going to those kinds of events,
Yes.
I think we do have that longing. And it's really been, since last January, a year ago, since
Yeah.
anybody's been to any official, right, Mary
Yeah.
Kay, anything. So it's been last leadership, would have been the last time. So there is that longing. I'm sure the company realizes that and is going to figure it out. I wonder what they will do for seminar. I don't. The nationals are really. I just observed that they would like to know one way or another, because if not, then they want. Some of them are planning.
Then I think
I'm going
that's
to
a
plan
great
something
idea.
for myself.
Yeah.
They said for our area.
Well, and to have like a very, more of a extensive end of year awards, or like
Yes.
even have a training
Yes.
day and then have like
Yes.
maybe it's a couple
I
days.
think they were asking lots of questions, so I bet you'll hear about it soon. I
Well,
hope
Mike
so.
Strong said yesterday on our Diamond one that he said we don't have an answer right,
I was just
now.
gonna say that, yeah.
But
Everybody's anxious.
yeah, and so we don't have an answer right now, and really looking that I personally don't think they're going to. I
Would you bring all of your top sales force together
No.
in one place with whether
Yes.
they did?
I would.
Katie's like, absolutely.
Is that a question?
Yeah, no,
110%.
it is a question.
Yeah,
It is
absolutely,
a question.
I would.
And would you feel comfortable? And I guess looking at that right now is, would you feel comfortable going? Would you feel comfortable as the sales force going? I think some of us would be like, heck yeah.
Yeah, and then
Some of
let
us would be
everyone
like,
make their own decision.
oh. And
Right.
then you've got the people like, absolutely not. So you've got all three.
They're probably
You do
waiting
have
a
all
lot for
three.
like the COVID vaccine too that people are taking. So
They've got to
I'm
think about their liability too. I
You're
mean,
right, Jeannie.
it's a big corporation. It's not a I want to have all
Be
my
like the
people
Hunger Games,
together.
you know,
That's not
everybody
how they.
wants to come comes.
They're not going to look at it like that. They're looking at it
Well,
like
and there's so many rules and regulations
correct. Yeah,
on the
Yeah.
business end of it, I would imagine.
yeah.
Well, and then
Keep
pulling their
them
whole
from
business
plugging-
staff in there. You know what I
Right.
mean? That's their whole business staff in there as well.
Yes, it is. It is. So they would, and the protocols that would have to be followed to make that happen in a big venue. I think they would probably want other people to do that first before they are going to be the first one, because Mary Kay's got more of that stability, safety, and security. A lot of people in their, I would say the majority of their sales force has safety and would be safety and security. Your directors, I would be more likely. I would say they would do a leadership than they would do a seminar. That's what I would see happening, where you would get
Or
your
you just go, yeah.
upper echelon, and they could do that. They could do the nationals directors and maybe red jackets, or they could do something like that too, where they would
That would
have.
actually be a great idea.
Yeah, so I bet you they're thinking of all those different options as they're figuring it out.
And
So
we would like to be a little fly on the wall on where all this could go, like all these ideas, and but they've had to pivot like everybody else. This is
yeah, so you just have to be confident that they're definitely going to do what they think is going to be best for this company. That's what I would say. I am not going to have that thing on me the whole time. So I wanted to start out. Oh, first of all, and show you, if anybody's watching, that this was the necklace that I received. So I wanted to share that I loved it so much. And was actually chose what to wear today just so that I could wear this. And so when I look at what Lunch Bunch has done, one of the directors said, I didn't make it, but I appreciate having a bar that I continue to try to reach, because if I did not have that bar, I know it would be way easier just to let things happen rather than to make things happen. So that was a comment that I wanted to when I asked people and said, hey, is this something that still people are interested in achieving? That was what I heard. So from this month, we would like to start, and Jenica, we'll turn this around, and if you would start,
Oh, Jenica gets to start.
and you would share, okay, first of all, when you became a director I'll do an interview. I'm going to do an interview, okay?
Okay.
Okay. You became a director. Do you remember when you became a director?
Yes.
Okay, when was it?
August 1st.
Okay, that was what I wanted.
Okay. There was so much
supposed to
going
be
on
talking right now.
around me that I was like,
Okay, good. That's good. I was glad you remembered. Okay, now share with me. Okay, so that's August, and it's now. That was a January effort. So you've got, really less than 6 months. What made you say, "I will do what it will take"? Was it easy? Was it hard? How did it work?
like becoming a director
Nope,
or
I'm
afterwards?
talking about getting through the month of January and being here.
So the month of January definitely was kind of an eye opener because personally, me and my unit, we were struggling and we weren't making production like we should have. So I kind of got a fire lit underneath my butt about that. So I was like, you know what? I said we're going all in, and I actually went to my mom's car pickup, and then I went to Jamie's car pickup, and then I saw Sarah pick up
You
her
think those
car,
two
and I'm like,
Cadillacs were
listen,
kind
I feel like it's time. So yeah, we did way over what I thought we were even capable of at that point because our unit is so small, but we did like amazing for our that month, and I'm excited that we're hopefully going to be able to pick up our car by March is the goal.
Okay.
But I guess the biggest thing that we really did this month is I just hosted a ton of virtual parties.
Okay, you know what? I'm one of those people that never likes the word ton. How many virtual parties did you
geez.
host?
I think I had probably 7 or 8,
Okay.
and then off of that, what I would do is I'd have at each party, and then I'd message every girl that was from the party, offer to send them a free pampering kit, and then schedule a virtual facial with them. So
Perfect.
I had over 30 faces. I think like 35, 36 by the time I was done with that, just from those virtual parties, and then. I don't even know my sales for the month. I know that's terrible, but I forgot
But
to
you
total
will
that
tell me.
one. But
You're gonna send me.
I'm gonna
I'll
send
be-
it to her.
Yeah, you're gonna send me what that was, because I don't buy the. I don't know what it was.
I know.
Okay, it's February 2nd, and I'm gonna know what I sold.
Yeah.
Okay, so aren't you glad you came?
Yes.
Okay.
I needed to be held
Okay. I'll hold
accountable for tracking
Okay,
that a little
so
bit better.
When you tell me, so that's the kind of what I want to know, and that's what I want you to know. I'm not asking this because it's going to change what I do, but if you say to me I have a ton, that means nothing. If you say to me I held 7 to 8 parties, virtual parties, I intentionally made efforts to get new virtual parties booked from them, yes, and I did over 35 faces, then when you say, I want to do something in February and I want to do more, then if you want more, then I would say, well, I guess you're going to need to do more than 7 or 8. So then I would say, how many have you got booked for February right now?
Right now, I think I'm up to like 10.
Okay, that's perfect. And I don't know the stats for your virtual parties, and I can't say that for anybody because we can't say virtual parties do this. But you should know how many of my virtual parties actually hold.
Right.
Okay, so then, I mean, that's the kind, if I were going to do instruction or if I were going to teach, And if I were talking to other directors or any director, that's the kind of questions to me that really make a difference. Is do you know your stats? And why do I want you to know your stats? Because you're building a unit. And what you're building is a unit of people that you want them to be accountable to you. And so you need to know your stats, and you need to know what kind of questions to ask them. So if they say, I don't know how to make money, Mary Kay. Well, one way is virtual parties. Let's figure out, let's see, can we book parties for you? How many would you like to hold? Because what results would you like to have? And for you to say I did 7 or 8, then, and you don't know how much you sold, I don't know what your average is.
Right.
So I can't say, well, I got to hold so many parties because my average is, is it 800 or is it 100?
Yeah.
That's a big, big difference.
I think it's right around, like, if I had to guess, I'd say it's right around 3 to 4.
But now you're not going to guess because
I know, I need to know the right numbers.
Because
I'm not gonna guess. I'm gonna know the numbers.
You're going to go back and you're going to look at that. And I just want to say it. The only reason I'm saying is that's the only way I know how to grow a unit, is to take a unit first and figure out how that unit operates and how the director operates, and then I can tell you what you would need if you want something else. Yes?
Right.
Okay. Oh, that's so good. And so, but mostly what I heard was I didn't like the feeling of of where I was, which was not making it. Now, that I don't like what I'm feeling. That can be somebody who does, averages, 12 or 16,000 a month. That can be somebody that averages 22,000 a month, but what she really wants is 28,000 a month. It doesn't matter where you are, okay? What matters is, how do I light a fire under myself if I'm not happy with where I am? And so to figure out what motivates you, there's fear. I'm not going to be a director. Okay, that probably isn't going to cut it for a while because negative motivation never keeps you going. There's complacency. Well, I've always done this. I'm as long as I'm within that range, I'm happy. So then my question to you would be not, I don't want to know that your goal is just to make it and be a director. I would say, do you have a vision? Like you told me you made a vision board. Okay, so on that vision board, what are you doing exactly that's going to make one of those visions come true? Okay, so that's the correlation. When Kay Teeter was talking, she didn't ask them, do you want to be in a red jacket? She didn't ask them, I don't even know what Kay did. Kay, I'm sorry if you did this, but if you really want to work with someone, it's not, I want to be a red jacket, I want to sell $1,000. That's not it. What I need to ask you is, you said you had a vision. And I asked you to put a vision on that board that made you cry or brought tears to your eyes. And if you can't figure out how Mary Kay can get you to that vision and what you have to do in Mary Kay to get there, you're not going to get it. But Mary Kay, I believe, could be a vehicle that could get you there. And when you think that through, you'll have, if you need 7 parties, you'll have 7. And if you need 27, my gosh, you'll have 27. So when that vision connects to what you're doing in Mary Kay, nobody has to light a fire under you. Okay?
All right.
Aren't you so glad
Mine
you-
turns. It's your turn, Mom.
I didn't know we were going around.
Who'd like to be next? Who'd like to be next? Anybody?
I think you want.
I'll go, Jeannie.
Okay, Tony's been subjected to me in her past. Is that true, Tony? Okay.
Hey,
I usually can't do this when there's 16 people
Yeah.
around a table or 13 people around a table. I can't ask questions. So, move this one. Oh, so, okay, okay. Thank you.
I feel like I'm being interrogated.
Okay.
We're in the hot seat.
It's all good,
today.
right?
We're all in the hot seat.
Uh-huh. Amy, what I think happens is that I think people learn from other people. I really do. They don't, it doesn't mean that they'll do it, not at all, not at all. But sometimes what it does is it opens a way of thinking. Okay, one of the things that's impressed me about you is that you have a self discipline that's unusual. I will share that with you, because you've been pushed against things that are incredibly challenging in life. I mean, day-to-day life. And then you've got a Mary Kay business that sustains you. It's extremely important to your whole family and how things work. That's a reason why, but it's not the reason why. There's something in you, and I don't know what it is, but when you get it in your head, like, and I would say that you've changed since I've met you. Would that be possible, the way you work your business? Because I've seen a change in your ability, not only to say, I want this to happen, but to focus on how do I make that happen. And I don't think you always did that. I think you were more of a fly by the seat of your pants kind of a girl. I'm just telling
You're
you,
absolutely correct.
I'm telling my observations. And I feel like you allowed the lunch bunch to infiltrate the way you think about how you do things. And I felt like you allowed the lunch bunch to change the way you do things. One of them was numbers. You were excited this month anywhere before the month ended, and you said, Jeannie, I have all 7 of my UAS numbers. I've reached all 7 of them. It's very unusual. Usually when people reach 7, that means that they sometimes go into that next level, they bump it, or they're gonna go there, or they've been there and they're back now, and when they do 7, it's usually that they're ready to go. And my guess is that it's January, so you had a big month in December, and my guess is for you to fill up 7 by the end, before the end of the month, means that, yeah, you really belong in that next level. Is that true? Okay. The other thing that I noticed and that you shared with me was that we talk about unit size a lot. And that was one of those things that I don't think you were really conscious of unit size.
No, not even, it wasn't even in the back of my head at all. I remember Stacey James talking about it many times. And I'm sure I just remember she's like, every day you need to know your unit size. I'm like, really? Every day? And so I do. I have a whiteboard in my office, and it literally tracks my faces. It tracks my wholesale. It tracks who I'm moving up. It tracks my great start qualifieds for the month, and it tracks my unit size. So I knew on January 1, my unit size was 104. I know my unit size today is 117 because we hit February, but we finished January at 124. So yes, I do know those numbers now, and I didn't. I always flew by the seat of my pants and kind of let what happened happen. But now I've gotten very strategic, and I do believe that's why Nemacolin and being at the lunch bunch has been so important, is because of, I know like produces like. I know your brain is very strategic. I know that numbers, you've taught us that. And maybe I don't have my paper in front of me.
Okay.
But I did do my paper. It's in my car. So I do know like produces like. And that's why the lunch bunch has been so a huge part of my success. And it has, because I've never had a national. I've always been in the Go Give, Mary Kay area. And so to have someone that will challenge us, someone that will tell us the truth, someone that will share with us, hey, I'm seeing some areas over here. Maybe take a look at those areas a little bit and start to focus on these and see what happens in your business. For a long time, I have been the workhorse of my business for a long time. And when Tandy said today, she's like, you get a little more, you just a little more protected of your time. And so I've really tried to protect some of that time. So,
well, what's beautiful is that you are real dedicated to your church, to that family, to your family. And so to think that just being a workhorse, but now you can choose when that horse is working, that can make a big difference in, I would say, if we were talking about the inner satisfaction and the inner feeling of how you feel about yourself. So what would you like to share about this month? To get to that 24 from 104 to get to 124? How did that happen? That's not an accident.
No, and actually it was a very challenging month because I threw my back out the first part of the month again. That happened in November. And just doing things that I shouldn't be doing. I shouldn't be outside running a shovel. I'm not doing that anymore. Then I just didn't feel good. And then just, you know, you have an emotional roller coaster. And it's interesting just to watch yourself as a woman and as a leader, how areas I feel the enemy tries to attack, but also to be very in tune with why is this happening right now? Why did I have a situation with my back? Why was I not feeling good? Maybe why was I emotionally not at the top of my game? And to be very aware of that, but also to make sure that's protected, number one, and also making sure when you're starting to feel in that realm to either be reaching out or making sure that you are filling your cup to an overflow. So that was one way. Another thing is I strategically planned my January. I got very strategic with it, with how many parties I wanted to hold a week, how many people I wanted to talk to about interviews in a week. 47 faces was it for January. How many people did I want to interview? And my coach also challenged me to do need toe-to-toe, whether it was Zoom or what it was, is to really sit and do some interviews. That is an area I'm still working on growing, because I know that's an area that I'll tell people about Mary Kay, but to sit and connect with that woman, I know that there's going to be way much more of a signing potential versus me just saying, hey, did I tell you about the discount of the product? Did I tell you how you could make a business in that? No, it's sitting down and really connecting with her. That's an area I plan to grow in the month of February. I strategically put guest events in because I knew a lot of my consultants were not in a spot where they felt comfortable. So I said, okay, we're doing a birthday party this night. This is what you're going to send out. Order the samples. If you do not have the samples, please let me know, and I will ask my assistant to do that for you. And so then she was getting those. So there was no reason why our girls would have any reason not to participate in any of our events, because we made sure that we had things readily available for them.
You named off many things, okay? And you said, in the past, I was a fly by the seat of my pants kind of girl. And yet you named off many strategic things. Do you have a checklist where you're looking at what you need now every month and what you would like to have happen?
So I've created a dump list that I do every single week on Sunday night. I always try to sit down on Sunday night and create a dump list and then put that dump list into my week of the days that I want to work. Okay. And so that was one system that I put for that.
Okay. I would say, Amy, that having had how many offspring this past year?
I had 2 offsprings,
Okay.
and it was interesting because I looked at my sheet that I had, because you can see your unit size from back in August. I think it was I think it was July 31st. I think I was at 156.
Yeah.
And then she offspring, and then I don't know where that number went from there, but I noticed like I was getting to that spot. But this was a month I started doing just, again, some strategic things. Who do I not want to tee out? Well, number one, I don't want to T7s out. I don't want any T7s to go out. And I really don't want my T6s to get into T7, because then it's so easy to lose track of time. And I also knew that my I3s counted in that number. So I got very specific on contacting I3s, T6s, and T7s.
And would you have done that?
No, because you sat down that one day. I remember when we were, I think it was at Gibson's, and I remember, and you're like, call them. I'm like, I have like 80 people, and people like, call them anyway. And I had a 4-hour window, and I sat up on 94 because I was going to a party that night. I sat up on 94, and I called, and I called, and I called, and I called, and I called. And it was interesting, but it's just that connection. And I think just like Kay shared last time, it's that connection. And this month, another thing I did too is I got very strategic. Every single consultant, and I texted them. Was it probably the best use of my time? I don't know. I really don't care. All I know is we had a phenomenal month, one of the best months that we had this seminar year. But I strategically connected with every consultant, letting them know this is coming out, this is what it is, this is how you use it. And so then they're educated on the product. And I had a couple of consultants too. They're like, hey, can you please order me one of those? Yes, I can. I will get that ordered for you. Because some of them just want that customer. They'll order for themselves. but they just want that connection with you. So
Seems like it's been quite a productive year for you.
it's been this month was I was very busy, but it's so neat too. But there were days I had to work out of my bed. And that's okay. Thank God for my new iPad. I'm so grateful. But I do thank you for that, Jeannie, because strategic was definitely not even in my vocabulary.
You know what, Amy? I or other people have taught that same thing to many, many people. It's not me. It was you. It's you that took something that someone said, whether it was me or anybody else, but you took it and you said, I'm doing something with this because I deserve to have better than what I've had. And I'm smart enough to do what it takes. You lay claim to that. That's yours. It's your victory.
But I think, Jeannie, too, sometimes you forget that because none of us have ever had that person standing in our corner and we have not been educated on how to do those things. Please don't discount that either. Because we're waiting for someone to say, hey, this will air in your business. I think if you just pay a little attention to this, I think you're going to see a really huge amount of gain just by paying attention to this area.
Awesome.
So,
Awesome one.
thank you.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Awesome. Good for you.
I don't know what time it is.
12:26.
Oh, I got time. Okay, because I got 3 people.
This is great. I love this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me about your month.
Tell me about my month. Okay, I will tell you about my month. My month was good. There was
I
a
don't
lot
know
of
what that means.
well, what it means is I had a few new consultants come on.
What does that mean?
3 new consultants come on.
Now we got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
3 consultants that had come on that really just kind of lit up and started to get the idea of what their business could do for them.
Okay.
Okay.
Key component. All right. Something, again, Tony, you say 3 consultants and you say they came on or came up. Okay. And you said
New consultants.
3 new consultants came and they found out what Mary Kay could do for them. Okay. Would you say that that's something that all year you had been doing, or is it something that you added to how you worked with your new consultants?
I think in the last 3 months, I've made it really clear with them about connecting, like talking to them once a week, holding them accountable for what they say they're going to do, kind of being like my word for the year is bold. Okay, I'm not a bold person. I know that. But I have to be because I want more for my business and I want more for a couple of these girls that are wanting more too. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense or not. But I know that I have to be bolder with them in order for them to move.
How long have you been a director, Tony?
4 years.
Okay. And when do you think that concept of being bold, when did that happen?
To be honest with you, I mean, I knew about it, but it scared me. I fought with this word, believe it or not. I fought with this word for a couple weeks, even when I decided I need to be bold. And then I'm like, no, I don't need. That's not me. And so this past year, this quarantine year, on a lot of different levels, on a lot of different emotions, both personal, both with work, there's things that I just need to be bolder about.
Because what do you think bold's going to get you?
Bold, not brass, not a negative bold, but like if somebody, Tracy, I'll just use her name, says, I really want this to work. I just quit my job. I really want this work. Then I'm going to have to say more bold than I used to before. Okay, this is what you're going to have to do. This is what this is the activity. You follow up the activity with what you say you want to have, and you're going to be able to.
Just to say, need to, have to. Okay. If you were to say, because you say I want a soft bold, didn't you say that to me?
I'm sorry,
Soft bold.
not brass. Yeah, not.
You're very cautious about that. I don't want to be brassy. I want to be
Well,
bold.
that's what I kept
Okay,
thinking.
Now,
Yeah.
but wait.
Okay.
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 What if your language is, because you're worried about the bold being you have to. The pointing finger is not, you don't want that.
Right.
But what if your bold is, I know what you could do that could get you with what you want. If I shared with you what that was, and I held you accountable to that, would you be willing to do that?
Yeah, good writing.
But that's bold.
Right.
And that bold, okay, can be your bold, because it's not, you didn't feel, I made you. You don't have to do this.
Right.
I have been in this business for how many years? How many?
4.
How many have you been in?
Your director years?
how many years?
2012, yeah.
Okay. I've been in almost
15,
10, right?
14.
I've almost been in, yes, 10
14
years?
years.
14?
Right?
No, 10. 12, 22?
12.
Yep, you're about 10 years. 4 years I've been a director. Okay. What I've learned is I know how to help you make money. I know how to show you how you can make money in this. Would you allow me to tell you what would need to be done? Now, if you listen and you hear it, can I hold you accountable to that? How would I do that? That kind of bold, oh my gosh. You know, that's what, to me, that's caring bold, and that's who you are. You have to be caring about that person. But if you can take that word bold and use that caring bold, okay,
I like
you
that.
will be
Okay, yeah.
able to move mountains with your people, because that's your personality. And they know you care, but they don't know that you know. I know that you kind of listened to what I had to say, and I talked about warmth, and I talked about competence. They know you're warm. They know you're that you can be trusted, you can be. Competent means, do you know what you're talking about, and can I trust you to do this, and do you really know? Sometimes your reticence about even sharing what your accomplishments are, or your reticence not to be saying this is how it's done, because you're thinking that's too pushy. Okay, they aren't sure about your competence. So if you can get that across, warmth and competence, if you can do that, you're going to make such a difference with the people. Can you see how that could happen? And then this month, when you intentionally work with those 3, and if there's anybody else, I don't know, but if you intentionally work with those 3 in that manner, finding out by the 2nd of this month, today, what it is that they would like to accomplish by the end of the month, and you saying with confidence, I can show you what to do. We can work with you together. Will you be accountable, and will you work with me? I need you to do this by this time, and then I'll know what, and I'll tell you the next step. Are you excited about that?
I am. Yeah, I actually really am. I'm excited for myself, and I'm excited for the people. I feel really good about this year. Honestly, I feel really good about this year. I don't know why, but I feel really like upbeat, positive, love my business. Truly do love my business. And I just want to see the people like
You've got that down. You've got that down. You've got the warm, you've got the love, you've got that. That other element, that's what you need to add in there. And when you add that and they see you in that fashion, you know, you need to share. How much did you sell last year, Tony, in Mary Kay? In 2020, whatever it is, 2020. How much did you sell?
well, you mean my retail sales for 20? I'm at 27,000.
Okay, so you sold 27,000 in 2020. Okay, then I'm betting that those 3 new people don't know. And when you say I sold 27,000, that means that I could potentially have made my business, you know, okay, so that's, what is it, almost
That's 14,000.
14,000. So you say, I get almost 14,000. Would that make a significant difference if you were to make even half of that? I mean, that or half of that? Because that's what I do, so I know I can show you what I do. Are you excited?
Yeah.
I'm excited too.
Are you excited?
Yeah. I am.
Jeannie, can I ask one question? Because I took that class with you guys when you talked about this, about the warmth and the competence. But I also feel like competence is also, there's another word equated to that, almost like a self-belief, of almost even like raising a self-belief in yourself, that I am very competent in my business. I know what I'm doing, but I'm sure there's a science of even how to raise that up.
It's I don't know, you can't be more competent, but you have to let the other person observing you know your competence level. That's maybe what you're talking about, is how do I get them to know my competence level? And usually with women, it's that they don't want to put that across, because if they put that across, then they're acting arrogant, and they're not humble.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
you
I
go
agree.
if you
You
go
do
and if
have
you
a
go
lot of
back
those,
to your
yeah.
religion, if you're very strong in your faith, you come across as I can't be like that because that's too arrogant. I don't want to do that, and so you become too back off.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
No, I knew you
No.
know. That's why I asked. I'm like, you know what?
I don't know answers. I just sometimes ask questions or I make observations.
But
Would
that's
that be
true,
fair?
though. I think that's true.
Would that be fair? Okay. You have to move a little bit, this thing. Okay.
How am I moving? Here.
I think, oh, she can do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here, come this way just a little
Okay.
bit. 'cause
Like,
Sandy,
it's
you're
really
real
close. I can
close.
feel it.
You're gonna see that
There it is.
retinal really working today.
Okay.
But hello.
Okay. I even mentioned on the way here, I said there's going to be about, how many people, and I don't know, you would know them, because Reed will say, well, how many are going to be there? And I said, well, you've met Candy. She's the one from Rockford, okay? And I said, she has actually done incredible things in this business. And she has ridden a roller coaster. And Reed, we first met her way back on our first trip on a ship. And so it goes all the way back that far that we met her, and she was on that ship on a trip. And she's been up and down in her life like you cannot believe. I mean, and you'd not know it to look at her. She looks like she's cool as a cucumber and done everything so easily, and it's been a trajectory of up the whole time, and that's really not true. But what she's done lately, as she has got everything in control, is that she not only last year had her best year ever on all counts. We're talking every way that you could possibly count it. It'd be unit production, it'd be quart of sharing, quart of sales, everything. And now, this year, she's doing better. So, Candy, what do you attribute that to?
Oh, it is a lot of things for sure. And as these guys have talked, it's made me like think of stuff and write it down. And the one thing I wanted to say about Amy's is what you were saying, just the fact that we have a place to show up, and when you show up, it's ideas. Like you don't take them all, but you use something. And so I've appreciated that. Like I can attribute a lot of it to that. The preferred customer program, I mean, how long have I been coming to this now? And I finally this month was like, okay, I've got like a week to put something out instead of like, oh yeah, it's the day of and it's on the box to do that. It's like that's so little, but it's those little things that compound are big. So that's one little thing, just hearing the ideas and knowing what to implement.
What was your percentage?
Oh shoot, I don't know. It wasn't as high as everybody else's.
It's
for
very
sure.
hard to have a big unit and have a high.
Yeah, it
Very
was
hard.
not, but it was
Very
good.
hard.
And was it higher than any? I don't know because I've never tried. I've never made that a big thing,
Mm-hmm.
but it was pretty good.
Are you going to make it better this next time?
I did write it down somewhere
So
too.
I bet you have
Whatever
to look,
those
because
numbers
now you
were.
have to be accountable to me, and I'm going to ask you if the next one is better.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Just
However-
add that to your list.
Okay, add it to my list of things to track. I finally found this and
Oh,
found where I could get the
good.
numbers from last year, so that was a win.
Do you want to tell what this is, so they
Oh,
can see?
yes. That sheet right there that shows last year to this year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it's called. Does it have any?
No, I just did
Okay,
it. I've
it
done
was
it all
just
my
sent
career. I don't know what
You
it's
need track list.
Yeah.
I do know that this, so January was our best January. I'm pretty sure, I mean, I don't have that sheet, but I'm sure it is our best January ever. 37 up from last January, but we're 47% year to date
Higher.
over last year.
47% higher than last
Than
year.
last year, at
which
this
was-
time.
Which was your best year?
Yes. So we're
Ever.
officially
Which was
tracking
your best year
700
ever? Say that ever.
Ever.
Okay, okay.
But I think some of the things that I had to realize or figure out for myself was what is important to me. Like, what do I like? Like, what makes me tick? And how does my, meaning like my life and my schedule and all of that. So I love to travel with my husband. Like, everybody knows that about me. And I didn't want to feel like I had to choose that or have my best year ever. So it was learning how to, like, I've hired more help and really good help and have them do more things than what would be necessary.
Say that one more time.
Hire more help and better help, that one.
Yeah, the one about hiring help. Because if
Yes.
any of you are not where you want to be, I guarantee you don't have enough help.
Mm-hmm.
Guaranteed.
And I've heard
Guaranteed.
that always. And I think I've always had help, but I've always watched the amount that I wrote on that check as like, ooh, that's pulling, which maybe part of that was single year. Maybe it was just a mixture. But now I look at it when I write that check like, this is the best check I get to write all month. Like, I'm so grateful to be able to write this, and I know how it's blessing her. So I've changed the way I look at that of like, I get to bless this woman with this family with this because I'm working, you know, I have better results and I'm willing to work hard. And so the help has been a big deal.
Okay, you may not have heard, and even if you heard, it may not sink in. But whoever it is that you hire, Tandy just said, my thought process is, I just blessed this woman with this paycheck.
That's great. I
And
like that.
that's a way different way to look at
Yeah.
it than to say, oh my gosh, this is coming out of my bottom line, I don't have any, blah, blah. Okay. The other part is, because when I talk about this, I really think that help is significant. But if you talk to me about your getting help, you best be talking to me about how much work you are doing. Because that's the other element. I believe that you, for one thing, the help she's getting, they're doing things that other people could do, but she's doing the things other people can't do. And it's working diligently during the time frame that she has. Very few people have the focus that you have or the work ethic. I'll be honest, Candy, I'm confident that there would be a large majority of people in this business who don't know you would say, she's a beautiful face, she's a beautiful woman. That's how and why she's
Why
successful.
she's doing it.
And if they knew how many parties you held, how many faces, how many people you met with, how many calls you made, they would be astounded. And I really appreciate you for that, admire you for that, and I want you to lay claim to that, because whether they ever want to, it's your hard work.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm disciplined. Like, I
Yes,
do well
you
with
are.
discipline in all areas of my life. It's something I really work on, and I always look at a way to like, how can I get better at that? Like with eating and with exercise and with my work and the time I wake up and things. And I know there's always ways that I need to. I'm always looking like, okay, I need to be better. It's almost something I have to be okay with where I am and not make it such
Always,
a focus
yeah.
of like not good enough. And I don't mean that, but that is something.
Maybe a little OCD.
Yeah, for sure. Like, yeah.
Yeah, that you just, it's gotta be,
I like things just right, and sometimes you have to. That's more of the thing I've had to work on. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect to be great, you know. But I will still strive for excellence in all the areas. I don't have to do perfection, but in whatever area of whatever it is that I'm
so
working
how did
on.
it feel for this January to have your best January ever?
It felt great. I mean, it didn't start that way. So I was looking at, okay, what can something has to shift, something has to pivot. And if Becky, if you end up watching this, thank you. I've already boxed her to tell her, but that Fab 5 and 5 was such a help. It was such a I needed something to feel excited about to share with my unit because I could feel the stuckness of everybody. I
Yeah.
could feel the way we all just felt. I felt like people were stuck. They had Zoom fatigue. Like they were like, what can we do that just little bit, just pivot? And that was a huge help. And it's just started to filter. I have my first one tonight. I haven't even done one yet. I've just talked about it and trained on it and had girls do it. So that has been, that was really exciting in January. We added 8. Out of those 8, 2 have not ordered yet. 1 got active and 5 got qualified.
Wow.
So I was
Awesome.
really proud of that,
Yeah.
of getting those qualified, plus another Great Start qualified. And I got myself back up to, I finished quarter sales. Quarter sharing, I think I have 15 in. So I've been trying to like stay on track with it this year. And I was not by leadership. So December 31st, I was 1 short. And then this month I'm 1 over being on track. So getting disciplined
It sounds
in those have been
obviously
helpful.
very, you are a systems girl. You live by your systems, and I appreciate that you say, and I continually look for ways to tweak them if it's in my head that tweaking them will make a difference.
Yeah.
I have to make, usually when you've been in a long time and you've been successful, you learn to be very standoffish when people come up with new ideas. New directors will jump on ideas in a minute. They'll go and I'm going to try this and oh I heard that and I want to do this, and they'll go to leadership and they come home and they change everything or whatever. They hear a Zoom and they change everything, and that's, you're finding your way. A person who's been successful is very hesitant. Okay, the other thing that I heard you say was when I heard the 5x5 or what is that 5x5?
Fab 5 and
Fab
5.
Okay, Fab
Yeah.
5. Okay, when I heard the Fab 5, if you listen to what she said, it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to do this. No, it wasn't like that at all. It was, that sounds like a good idea. She's done it. She understands it better. I'm going to have her teach my people. Then it was, oh, she hasn't even done one yet. But she created all the systems and figured out the communication pieces that would be necessary to implement this. And then when she worked with somebody who was going to implement it, you just shared, I don't know if everybody heard, but that person that did it, what was her? Wasn't doing much. What happened?
Jamie is my personal recruit. She's also one of my assistants. 2 weeks ago, she was at my house, had nothing on her books, like no, she'd been having some sales, but just had been trying because she's one that wants to be a director by June, and she can't, like she's great. She is having nothing going on. So I said, okay, well tonight Becky's going to be teaching this Fab 5 and 5, and I sent it to, I have a graphic design girl. I had her make a flyer that I felt like was exciting and felt like me. Like I just wanted to use this one. I took all the stuff Becky sent and changed it to our unit stuff.
Okay, now
and had
pause
this
1
system.
second.
Okay.
Okay. 1, I looked at the systems that Becky taught me. They were great. But I had to put my what? Brand.
Yeah.
I had to put my brand on it. And so I had to do that first. I didn't, when I heard about this, shoot it out there and, oh, everybody should do this. I systematically figured out all the things that should be done. That's a month ago. I went through, branded it our way, came up with the system that made sense to me. So if I'm going to have to explain it after Becky's gone now, I can explain it. It's not instant, but when it's done well, then it will work for a long time. Okay, sorry.
So Jamie had $1,000 week this week.
Wow.
She held 2.
Awesome.
One was a one-on-one, sold $100. The other one had 7. 4 people ordered $1,000.
Wow. And she's
Volue
like
firm
so excited.
winners. Volue firm
Users.
users now. Yeah. So skincare, like tons of skin. And that's what I just feel like this whole virtual life that we're had to do is blessing
Oh,
Oh, I
totally.
agree.
so much
100%.
that
Some industries
much
might
more
not be
product.
successful, but this industry,
Yeah.
when used correctly, when adapted to your style, when
Right.
trained, and when drawn in, when you find that nobody's doing it, come do mine. When you'll take that time to make that happen. Well,
And when I say I changed things, it was like I looked at it and said, "This is what I want different." So I said, "Anne, will you do?" Anne's my other assistant. "Anne, will you do?" Like I don't like to do that. That's some of the stuff I've figured out. I don't like to, and I'm not good. So she puts the link on there. I don't even know how to do that, and I don't have to. I don't want to. I don't need to. But I knew, yeah, I just knew it needed to be put on for us. And like, I don't like that font. It doesn't make me happy. Can you change that? Like, what other font do you have? Those little things. So.
and you can only get to the point where you get to change the little things by having done everything yourself. Yes? True. And that's when you have the, I don't know, you get to change things. Well, we are, and I'm confident this will be your best year ever.
I know it will.
Yeah.
Me too.
And I'm hoping that Glenn will let you lie, because you won't like it if it doesn't happen. And when you don't like something, you'll make it happen. You- no,
Who's gonna be like?
Oh, the
Right there,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I know, you wouldn't like it.
Hello.
I know.
My husband Troy keeps saying like, oh, you know, it's gonna be so great. You're gonna do the trip. You could even do 700. I'm like, would you quit saying that to me?
Yeah.
I said my goal is million.
Yeah, yes.
That's very sweet. I know you're trying.
You're
No,
too
no,
sweet,
no,
but
no,
we're not
no,
going there. We're going higher.
Yes, we love you, but
we're doing million.
Stay out of it.
You're adorable.
Thank you so much.
Bigger thoughts.
Thank you for trying to
Bigger
protect me.
thoughts.
Yeah, he's being protective. He's being sweet when he does it.
Yeah.
Beth, I don't know you well. I know you a long time. I know you a long time because it goes all the way back to, I always think of Lake Lawn with you because that's where I first met you, was with Sandy. And I think it was up close and personal, correct? And so I've known you a long time, and I can share with you that you must have been way more successful when I don't know what you were when I joined, because I just remember looking up to you.
Sales director.
When
And
when did you become a sales director?
became a sales director in April of '94.
Okay. And so from '94 on, you've been moving in a direction. I don't have a contact where recently I might see something or you might share something with me, but I don't have a close feeling about what you're doing. You're welcome to nudge into my life if you ever want to, but it's kind of scary sometimes.
Well, I'm glad I was last, because as I'm listening here, it's like, I need to share more. And that was exactly what was coming out as you were going around. I need to share more, because I didn't ever, even with our national, when I had a national.
And who is your national?
Mary Diem.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I knew it was one of them that was always there.
And it was kind of like, oh yeah, you're great, wonderful, woo, you know, and it was like, and that was enough that fed me for a very long time. And now it's like the strategies I have learned, I can tell you that my assistant's very excited to put our percentage increases up on our lookbooks. She knows. She's like, you guys rock. We just had a 27% increase in books going out over last time, because I've taken from here, explained to her the vision I had, and we were shooting for 1,500. We had 1,383, you know, and 115 unit members. So, you know,
good.
I was really excited, and I think we were only at 21%.
Wow.
So,
And the goal is 25, you know.
I know we didn't hit that.
Oh, I know, and that's good.
It's like,
no, wait, look at me.
stretching.
And that's good. Because first of all, you celebrate the fact of, look what I did, but it's always good not to be totally satisfied, I think. You got to take time to celebrate. But then right after you get done celebrating, then I'm going to go like this.
Poke me. No, let's raise that bar. You know, and I do that for myself, because that is one thing about me. I am a big dreamer, but now becoming the big implementer, and
When did that happen?
consistently the implementation since I've been connected
Really?
in here is like that strategy. Oh, look at that. Oh, now you can raise this. Oh,
Okay.
now you can do this.
Because really, when did you, what would you say, dive into this group? When did you really say, I'm going to do something here?
I want to say it's probably been about a year.
And you came a few times.
Yeah.
I remember you just showing up one time and say, how did you hear about it? Because you don't always go to the Chicago directors.
No. You know what? That's a great question that I don't have
No.
an answer to. I
Isn't
don't
it
know,
funny?
but all of a sudden it was like, how do I get there? Maybe I saw it on and I was like, oh, that book is intriguing. How do I get there? And I asked somebody, and I don't even know who now.
Okay.
And
But
the
you-
link came, and I was like, oh, I have to do this, this, and this. Okay, but see, that's my achiever strength within me. It's like I want to achieve. I want to achieve.
If there was, and again, go back to who are the people that you want in your unit? Not the people that are going to talk about what they're doing, but the people who say, you have to do this to get to come. You have to earn, like I said for a director, you got to earn the right for me to talk to you. Not meanly, but you have to earn my time. I don't just spend all my time. But you said, well, if it's something I have to do, then it must be have value. Got to have skin in the game. I love that. So you decided to come. What did you see when you came that was different that you'd listen? Because you can go to things. It doesn't mean you're going to come back or that you'll listen to what was being said. What did you see?
What I saw was a leader who drew out the best in people without telling them what to do. And that made me want to go home to practice on people, to go, I don't want to tell you what to do anymore, even though I know what it is. And I don't want you to go, oh, yeah, I'm going to do that. No, why do you want to do that? So, for example, we had a girl start in December, had to hold a first party to even get a 225 in, and she did it. Booked her second party from that first one. We celebrated that, everything. That girl this month finished our $1 Million Club with 1,000+ wholesale in, and she worked to the last. How late are you working tonight, Beth? I said, I'm up till midnight working. Okay, great. I know I only have $83 wholesale left, but I am working to get these last orders in. And is it okay to message people? I said, hey, if they're online, they're okay to message, you know, and okay, you know, and so to be able to coach her to go from, I have zero money, I only had $30 barely to get a $30 e-kit to the next steps. She's coachable. So now it's like, okay, so she's on my list of coaching on my drive back home today.
Yes,
So-
that's awesome. So what was this month like for you, this January?
This January was director driven fully, and then a few came along. Okay, so we had one new red, and then we had a 20% increase, but it all started with me having the first parties and then continuing to ask people, so who can we book? I just don't have it. Everybody's telling me no, you know. And then my assistant, and thank you, Tandy, for the words on the assistant too, because my assistant now has 3 parties going, and she was upset, you know, like this challenged, I guess would be a Jeannie word, better word. I am not a words person, okay, just so y'all know. But she was challenged because those first 3 weeks she was flat, and she goes, I don't like where I'm at in my business. This is flat. I will never not have my January booked ever again. I loved my Christmas with my boys, but you're right, Beth, you take a week off, it takes you 3 to get going. And now this week she has a party with just 55, 57 people in it, online on Facebook, and so now helping to coach her to navigate that and to bring in the new. So, but yeah, it was definitely my personal work going in there.
And do you feel now that you've got somebody that you feel like you can work with for February, a new red, and this person that worked till the last minute?
Yep, her, and then my assistant's the third one
Yeah.
that I know I can really work with.
And really, depending on your unit size, you got 100 and some, to have 3 great people to work with. When you have a small unit size, you have 1, 2. That's it. There's nobody else. Rarely, ever. You're working for you, and you're working to find people like that. It's good. That's good.
So I came today though with questions.
Okay.
That maybe some of you can.
Oh, let's listen. We've
can
got it
help
here.
here.
Yes.
You know, I've strategically now put my new consultant process into pictures so it can easily go out. But I feel like I have stayed at 115 way too long. My highest unit size was 157, and I just feel like
Wait, tell me again. You're
I wanna
at
go.
what?
We're at 116 was the end of January, but 115 tends to be just that there, and it's like I don't like
And
that.
what was the highest you had?
157?
When was that?
That was 3 years ago.
Okay. Just remember that this is the most frustrating place you'll ever be when you're less than where you were at one time.
That's good to know.
If you know, because you said to me, you said to everybody, I had 157. We didn't ask you what you were before. You told me.
Mm-hmm.
I was at 157. So it's on your mind. I don't care what you say. But the hardest place to be is somewhere where you've been higher.
Mm.
And to get from where you are to 115 to 157, it will be the challenge. But it will be the most glorious when you get to 158. Do you remember when you said something about I had a great year? And I said, I don't care what you had a great year. What exactly was that year, your
Yeah.
best year? I said, I don't want to know I kind of had a good year and I did sort of this. I don't want to know that. I want to know exactly what you did because we're going to celebrate when you go beyond that. Well, you can celebrate, but
Are
you're
we
ready.
interested in any desserts or coffee or anything, or just the check?
Just the check.
Good.
All right, I'll be right
I'll
here.
have a refill though whenever you.
Sure.
Okay.
So that's yeah, because our best year ever was 580, and we've had we are at 49% increase this year.
Ah,
So
does that
and
feel good?
Yes,
Yes.
it feels good.
Yes, and we're celebrating that.
I'm celebrating that.
You better.
Thank you.
Have your best
If
year
you-
ever, Beth.
This is going to
am.
be our best year ever. Yes. Okay, so help my head go from. But we've had shrinkage over the last 2 months. It's like that's not where I want to be. I want that next.
Then you can do two things. You can dream about it and say, I want more. Or you can say, what are your stats? What's the most number of people in the last 6 months that you've added to your unit in a month?
I can tell you where to find that report now if you'd like.
It's
Tim's like, I got you.
Got you. Got that yesterday.
it was either 6 or 8 is the most. That is we are
Okay,
recruiting.
average. What's your average?
Our average right now 2
Okay, so I'm averaging 2, so obviously I know what it has to be. What?
recruiting.
Okay, yes, but recruiting is an end results. What's the efforts?
Sharing the marketing with people and
Well, it's how many marketing things, however you
That-
do it. How many have you shared? Do you know your numbers? How
I
many do you share a
do.
month in
we
your unit?
share. I tracked last month because
Okay.
that was like okay,
Uh-huh.
and we had 20 shares last month.
Okay, so 20 doesn't cut it.
No,
It's 1 in 10. That's pretty common. 1 in 10 is common.
yeah.
Okay, so what does that say? What have you implemented for February that will ensure that you have more? If you want 3, if you want to add 3, you better have 30. If you want 4, you better have 40. If you want 5, you better have 50 because that's your average. When you do more, you're going to get better because you're going to get better systems. So, but to start with, you know where to start.
And my assistant just made our little flyer while I was on the drive down here. I'm sure it was a God wink this morning that one of my memories came up that said 50 interviews between this day and the 13th of February 1st to 13th, and 2 $50 certificates to go out to eat. One for a consultant and one for a guest that listened. And so I'm sure that was the message she sent me.
Is
was
that
she
so
had it done.
good?
So I am excited about that. So, okay, that tied into everything because, like I said, I came here today with like, okay, Lord, I need answers for this because I'm not satisfied.
That's good. I always like when people aren't satisfied. Do you know
Well,
that?
thank you.
My
back
favorite
to before I
people to
forget.
work with. My
I'm a pen thief,
favorite
so.
people to work with are people that.
I was like, oh, she's like more phone, like phone of these instead of just one. My bad.
Is it good?
Yes.
Do you feel good?
So I do. I really do. It's like, okay, I'm on the right track, and here we go. So,
Okay.
yeah. Thanks.
I'm going to share something. I didn't plan to do this.
Do you want
Okay. Oh, we're done. Are we done?